just like that, it is another start to another great Monday and another great week. Wherever you're at, whether it's the morning, afternoon, evening, or it's not even Monday. Let's say it's a Friday, right? You could be listening to this on a Friday afternoon after 5. Man, whenever you listen to it, it is a great time to be alive. Welcome back to the Triple J podcast. For those who don't know me, I'm Nick Jeldricks. I am the director and founder of Triple J. If you don't know what Triple J is a platform that pursues to educate you. And whether you are a digital marketer, entrepreneur, executive, or just another business professional, this episode and this show is directed towards you and to provide you with the best content on the planet that helps you to expand and grow your business and brand. And whether it's for your business or own personal enjoyment, my goal is to provide you with industry-first deliverables that analyze market trends and assist your strategies for building your marketing principles. Our podcast, the Triple J Podcast, have what's called shows within the show. Today's show that you're listening to today is another segment of our marketing case study series. This is where I break down my latest case study and provide my main takeaways from the campaign. These case studies are featured on my LinkedIn and my website, which you can check out in today's show notes if you're curious. Other times I will have what's called a Q&A segment, whereas you probably guessed is where you provide the questions and I give you the answers. Let's say you have a question and you want to submit it to me. There are a couple different ways in which you can do that. The first way is to message me on my LinkedIn directly at Nick Jeldricks, or you can email your questions to triplejstudios with 2 S's at gmail.com. We also have episodes where I scour the internet and dig up the latest and greatest marketing strategies and review why you should or should not implement these practices into your business. We also have what's called Real Talk. And Real Talk is typically a 5 to 20 minute episode where I give you my advice or real talk on various topics ranging from marketing to personal development, discipline, and of course, my favorite hot takes. And finally, we have a typical guest or run-of-the-mill format where I invite a guest to share their thoughts on the show. And this can be anything from personal development, marketing, branding, anything that is going to be valuable to you, whether it's professional or your personal life. And I'm excited to share that project with you guys soon because it is in the works as we speak. Before we begin the case study, I want to share with you one quick thing, and that is called the fee. And all it is if you learn something from the show, you take something away from it, if it makes you laugh, it makes you think, it makes you feel inspired, or it incentivizes you to share it with someone that you know, the only thing that I ask is that you share the show. I'm not looking for you to follow me on social media. I'm not looking for you to subscribe to the newsletter. You can definitely do those if you want. However, I'm not going to make you do that. The only thing that I want to ask is that you share the show. That way it helps me to create more content that you enjoy, and it's just a kind gesture and way of saying thank you. So please share the show if you find something valuable, and if you don't, then you don't have to. That's all I ask. But obviously, the goal with these shows is to provide you the highest quality of content for the lowest possible cost, which luckily for you is free. So, man, big intro, but good intro. Man, what a time. I will say here before we get in, on a Monday morning, 65 degrees here in Colorado. It is beautiful outside. For those who know me, you know that I am currently training for an ultra marathon. And obviously, I would love to be outside as much as possible. And so having days like this where it's not super hot, it's nice, and I'm going to enjoy it. If you're watching to the video on this, you will now notice I have my headphones back on. We're ready to go. We're dialed in. So without further ado, let's get into this week's case study, which happens to be on one of my favorite brands that I've covered in recent past. So if you know me, obviously, like I said before, I've been posting my case studies originally on my LinkedIn. But since then, I have now built my own platform within my own website. And I want to share with you that website, which features my latest case study for today. Let's take a look at it. So I'm pulling up right now my website. As you can see here, this is my latest case study, which is the Kith and TAG HEUER, something like that. I've had to look it up a few times on how to pronounce the saying of the brand. But this is our latest marketing case study. And so I want to take time and I want to acknowledge that past marketing case study episodes, particularly the most recent one, I was kind of all over the place. And there's something on my mic here. Don't know what that was. But I want to take time and apologize for being all over the place. That's not what we're about here. So how I'm going to do this is simply break down my case study bit by bit. You'll see what I mean here in a second. And then I want to provide you my main takeaways. So that's how we're going to do the episode. Let's start with Kith and TAG Heuer. So for those who don't know or are not familiar with these two brands, let me just start there. Maybe you have no idea who they are. You don't know what you're about. Okay. TAG Heuer is probably the more prominent brand that you might know. And TAG Heuer is a watch company that has been affiliated with the LVMH line for years and years and years now. If you don't know LVMH, that is Louis Vuitton, just its ticker symbol within the stock charts. Within, I can't even think right now in terms of what it's called, the Dow Jones, the NYSE, New York Stock Exchange, and others. There we go. I can finally remember. And Kith is a premier and high quality premium sneaker boutique brand based out of New York. What's cool, I have done Kith case studies in past. I featured them in a couple other of my marketing case studies. But this is the first time that I have Kith as part of the main headline of the marketing case study. The other ones that I have covered in past have been dealt with different collaborations before. So for example, with the LeBron 4 marketing case study that I did, Kith had its own campaign within the sneaker that I was introducing for the case study and reviewing the campaign. However, this brand and this case study here is particularly focused on Kith. So I want to review both brands and kind of highlight what they do, who they are, and then showcase the cool collection as you kind of see here. So with Kith's brand, let's take a look at their website here. Starting here, could you get any better of a picture than this? If you're listening to this on audio, basically this is an entire collection set picture that is within kind of a circular shape here, and it looks beautiful. I don't know how they managed to do this within photos. I don't know if there was some fishing wire involved or what, but this photo here, do you even need another picture? This thing is crazy looking. It's not only color coordinated, it also just looks so well done. It's beautiful. And so this page kind of highlights Kith's branding and just the collection in general, which we'll get into a little bit later as well. Taking a look here at the different photos, it obviously has a bunch of Kith's branding on it, but what is the background within it and what is the significance behind it? Well, this is where I want to take you within the case study. So let's take a look. So this particular watch set that Kith did a collab with TAG Heuer was called the Formula 1 watch. Okay. And what's significant about this Formula watch is a couple different things. The first of which is based on an Instagram video that I will share with you later in this show. Ronnie Feig, when he was younger, he was gifted a Formula 1 watch from TAG Heuer when he was in his teenage years, when he was an adolescent. And since then, he has kept the significance of his watch very close to him. He's loved it for, a long, long, long time, and he's loved it. And since then, he's been able to collect different watches for every flagship store that he's owned. And so he wanted to commemorate not only his love for the watch, but also for the love of his flagship stores within this set right here that you see. And so Ronnie Feig is the founder and owner of Kith, and it's been going on 2 decades now. He has been prominently known for doing collabs with ASICS, with Nike, and his most prominent one, at least in my opinion, has been with the New York Knicks, especially because of their playoff run within this year. It's phenomenal to watch. It really is. So that's more of the breakdown of Kith. Now, TAG Heuer, as you see here in the history section, was founded by, I believe it's Edward Heuer in 1860. And Heuer kind of used similar type of brand ethos from other companies that I've done on other case studies into his own brand. And so he wanted to leverage his family roots to help form his brand image and likeness, focusing on family leadership and technical innovation to act as the lighthouse for his direction. Okay. The other one that immediately comes to mind within this brand ethos that I'm talking about here is within the PATA marketing case study, which if you have not seen that already, go ahead and take a look at it. It's very simple. Just go ahead and type in PATA within the case study section, and it should be the first thing that comes up. But since he began building watches when he was 20, it went from just him making silver pocket watches when he was younger all the way to building one of the most prominent brands within the 20th and 21st century. And it's really cool to see how this brand has evolved and grown over the years. So this collection obviously has a huge significance within TAG's history. But the second part of it is that this watch set collection was released around the Formula One race that happened in Miami just a couple weeks ago in I believe it was May, still early May. I believe it was May 5th. Of 24. I am pretty sure that's that. Don't quote me on that. That's my guess. And so obviously everyone is focused on the F1 race, and Kith and Ronnie TAG decided, hey, well, since this is the F1 watch and it's a watch designed for the motorsports and the whole racing mantra, why don't we launch the watch during the same time as the race? It truly was a brilliant idea and the whole reasoning behind this whole collection. And it was a huge, huge deal. So let's continue on right here. Sorry, my audio was kind of acting up there for a little bit. Hold on. This is funky right here. Okay, I had some technical difficulties, and I think I fixed it. I'm pretty sure I fixed it. So now I'm going to go back to the Zoom here. Okay, so video should still be rolling. Audio's back to normal. So let's continue now with the collection itself. Let's do it. Thank goodness, because I was beginning to get a little concerned with the quality. Anyways, let's get back to it. So what's really cool about the collection here, and as you see on my screen, it was not just limited to watches. In fact, it actually had a whole clothing set as well. This is why I love Kith, because they not only have a centerpiece of a product like the watch here, the F1 watch that they have, they also have a complete set of products that anyone can buy. And it ranges from middle of the road to pretty expensive. Okay, this is a premium brand. I think people don't necessarily understand why their prices are so high. This is a premium quality brand. Right? It's not designer by any means. This is more, think of it as a high-end boutique. Okay, so they're not charging prices like a department store or even Nike per se. This is more of a premium brand. So they can charge premium prices and people are still going to buy it. So for example, you see the TAG HEUER Formula One leather jacket. This thing is incredible. It's also $1,000. So you can take your pick on what you want to deal with it. But if you have $1,000 to spend, you know you're getting a high quality jacket. I mean, look at this leather here. It's incredible. Not something that I would buy, but if it's something you would buy, let me know in the comments below on this show notes. And obviously too, they have a whole bunch of other stuff. And if you're on Spotify right now, go ahead and open the app and take a look at the video. Okay. The cool thing about Spotify is, yes, you're listening to the audio, but all the uploads that I do are video. So if you do want to watch, you can take a look and see what I'm reviewing at any given point during the show. So I encourage you to take a look at it during this collection part right now. They have everything from t-shirts to hoodies to hats. And then obviously you'll get down to the actual watches themselves. So it's really cool. But I want to take you to the actual watch collection right here. So obviously what's really cool is there's 10 watches in the set. And so I want to kind of break down what each watch is and what they represent, just to kind of give you a background on the whole purpose of this. And so let's start with this. So as I've mentioned before, Ronnie Fi, I guess, had a huge significance with this particular watch, the F1 from TAG Heuer, in his past. And so he wanted to pay homage to his past by having a signature staple watch that both Kith and TAG Heuer could sell and produce, and then the others would be Kith exclusive. So let's start with the Kith exclusive watches and then go from there. So obviously, let's start with kind of going, I'm just going to go basically straight across row 1 and then row 2, and then kind of just give you an outline on where they are from. So the first row has a mix between signature store releases and then those watches offered by both TAG Heuer and Kith. So watch number 1, 4, and 5, I believe are, actually no, I'm going to take it back. Watches 1 and 5 are TAG Heuer and Kith watches, meaning you could buy both of these watches individually on both websites. Okay, they do offer these watches individually, most of them, and they went for around $1,500. Okay, that's retail. It's a lot of money for a watch, not gonna lie. But when you see a watch like this that has a cool storytelling, which we'll get into in a minute, it's a no-brainer for why this watch is sold out. So this first watch here is kind of the original and run-of-the-mill staple Kith and TAG Heuer watch. And then the fifth one right over here in green is going to be one that was available in both stores. The other 8 that you see here on your screen are paying homage to Kith's flagship stores located around the world, okay? Which, in my opinion, is phenomenal marketing within that. So I want to take a look here and showcase these different watches and kind of just show you what flagship stores that they were at. So this green dial right here, watch number 2, is paying homage to the green wall featured within Kith's Paris location. Okay, so that's why this green bezel is there, and that's what it's resembling. The blue one next to it, watch number 3, is paying homage to the LA store. The fourth one, that's probably the only one that I don't know off the top of my head, and it's gonna bother me. I've watched 4 and watch 10. I'm iffy. Actually, no, I do. Watch 10, this yellow one here, I believe is for Toronto. I believe that is the Toronto one. I don't know watch 4. If you know what watch 4 is, put it down in the comment section. Okay. One of my favorite watches is probably one of the most bland ones out of the collection, and that is the 6th one here in black. And so this one here represents the flagship store based in New York City, the original place to where Kith was founded. What's really cool about this watch, yes, it is an all black watch. Okay, it goes with a lot, but it's kind of boring. One of the things that I really enjoy about this is you can see here within the top of the bezel, all of the different numbers have a different color that corresponds with it. And all of these different colors that you see here correspond to Kith's main color palette, which uses a lot of different pastels, like pastel blues, purples, and pinks, yellows, very light, subtle colors, okay? And it goes throughout the watch, and it just looks so good. I think if I were to pick one watch for myself out of this collection, it would probably be, man, that's tough. I would probably say either the New York one or the LA one. I think the LA one is very clean, and I just think it looks great. But let's continue on. The second one on the second row, okay, so the 7th one total, that is, I believe, the Tokyo one in Japan. I believe that's the right one, pretty sure. Man, I could just be butchering all of it, but I'm pretty sure it goes Tokyo. I know the sand one here, the 8th one is for Miami because the sand color mimics the beaches there. This one here, the 9th one with the green bezel and the yellow and red, that one represents the Hawaii flagship store. And then the 10th one here is Toronto. So that, I believe, is the entire watch collection. If you wanted to get the entire set, you could get the entire set for some chump change of $18,000. 10 watches for $18,000. I need a coffee break. 1 second. That's borderline ridiculous. But how does Kith do this? How does Kith sell 10 watches for $18,000? That's normally a TAG Heuer F1 watch goes for around $1,000. Okay, so how do you get 10 of them, which should go for an MSRP of $10,000, to go for almost double that cost? That's what the entire marketing campaign is. The marketing campaign can take a simple product and then elevate its worth because of the storytelling it provides. But before I get into the storytelling in the campaign, I want to show you TAG Heuer's website and how they advertise the campaign. So as you can see here, I mean, my goodness, this takes video to a whole nother level. Showcases all the different watches in the single circular kind of display as Kith did, just in a very elegant way. TAG Heuer watches are known for its high quality and precision, and all of this right here, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, it kind of reminds me of like Mercedes-Benz car ads, how it has kind of that similar type of build and style within its videography. It's very similar to that, and both of which these brands promote a high quality, elevated class type of look, and it just speaks volumes to it. So let's take a look here. You can see all the different details with the dial spinning. You're able to shop the different watches in the collection, and we'll get into more of the stuff later on, but man, just looks great. You can see here Ronnie Feig is also featured on TAG Heuer's website. So as you can see here, this is where you can actually buy the watches. Now, these are all limited edition. I don't know if these were available only in store for TAG Heuer or if you could get them online. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like they were only available in store. So as you can see here, just the different details within the watch. Obviously, the Just Us limited edition is exclusively Kith's branding. One of my favorite, I think this is probably the most underrated detail, but the inside of the watch with the Kith box logo branding, the Kith and Heuer combined collaboration logo, it just is so well done. This is all engraved into the watch itself. Glow in the dark details on the dial, the shared logo here on the link, and it just looks so good. It's one of my favorite things for sure. All right, so that was the collection. Now let's get into the actual marketing campaign and how this campaign really excelled and how Kith and TAG Heuer really leveraged and utilized great marketing strategies to really elevate and showcase just how great their products were. So I'm going to kind of go through the points I mentioned within my marketing case study. So if it's helpful for you, you can pull it up here on your phone or on your computer. You can find it at triplejstudios.com. You can find it in the link here in the show notes as well. So one of the big ones that I highlighted already was Kith and TAG Heuer really leveraged this campaign and collection around the F1 Miami event. And so since the F1 watch has such a strong tie to the actual racing organization itself, this watch was a must advertise when it came to the latest race on May 5. Since the F1 on these types of events bring in over 3 million viewers, launching this collection on this day created a win-win scenario for both Kith and Formula One fans. So those who know and follow Kith were more likely to watch the race that weekend, which generally means F1 is going to create a stronger revenue from their viewers. And on the other side, with F1 fans, they're already interested within the F1 mantra, within the F1 ecosystem. And so once they find out about their new watch with Kith, they are going to be naturally curious and are going to check out the latest collection. They might not necessarily buy the watches, but what happens is this. If they come across the website and they see the watches, maybe $1,500 is not in their budget. Okay, that's totally fair. It's not in most people's budgets to begin with. But here's the thing. There is a chance that that individual knows somebody else who then might know a couple other people who would be interested in purchasing a watch, if not the entire set. In essence, launching this collection on the F1 Miami event only promoted the wildfire spread of word of mouth marketing. And that played a pivotal role when it came to the actual selling and revenue from this campaign. The second way, in which has already been kind of hinted at, was within Kith and TAG Heuer's influencer marketing. And so obviously within past brands, companies may utilize one or several influencers to get across their messaging within their products. But in this particular case, F1 racer Max Verstappen was the only influencer to play a role within this marketing campaign. And so if you take a look on my case study, Max Verstappen is featured there in a picture. You can also find these pictures on Kith's website as well as their Instagram and TAG Heuer's website too. Max Verstappen is featured all over their page just because he is a prominent influencer within the TAG Heuer world. And I mean, what better way to do it? This is another great definition and example of Kith's sniper method marketing as opposed to the spray method. And if you're curious on what those methods are and how to distinguish between the two of them, I have done an entire podcast episode on that alone, which you can go and take a look at. It should be one of the Q&A episodes, okay? So go take a look at it. But this is a great tactic that clearly worked as the collaboration went beyond customers' wrists and onto the racetrack when, the F1 car had Kith and Heuer's shared logo near the front of the vehicle. So one of the main photos here is featured on my website here. And obviously it features an F1 race car with Max Verstappen in the driver's seat with not only, I believe that's 5 of the Kith watches, but also the shared logo on the F1 car itself. For those who don't know how expensive F1 cars are, it is astronomical how much money they spend on this singular car. It goes stupid fast, and it's freaking cool to see. And anytime that you see a brand or a company featured on an F1 car, they typically pay a lot of money to get there because companies are willing to pay that extra mile for all of the extra viewership that they get. It's basically a free advertising, especially if that player wins. Not only are they seen by all the viewers during the race, but also after the race, and that brand is now associated with the winner. And if you get into that lucky category, man, you are for sure going to get quite a bit of sales from that. The third way, let's get to the third way, right? So let me take a sip of coffee real quick. Did something new where I put protein powder in my coffee and kind of mix it up together. Let me tell you, it's a great time. The third way that this brand succeeded within its campaign is it upheld personal brand, image, and likeness, okay? Kith not only reflects Heuer's family-oriented brand image, but it also has this aura of exclusivity within its in-house product line, okay? So if you go to Kith's website and you just look at the products that they create, I'm not talking about what other brands like Nike and Adidas are featured on their website. I'm talking about Kith exclusive products. Okay, so remember the Kith and Heuer collection that we talked about earlier? That is a Kith related product. Okay, so those type of products are all very exclusive, still publicly available, but very exclusive and extremely high quality. Okay, and so because it had that exclusivity factor within it, it continued and extended its message within this small supply of the individual watches and its ultra rare set of the entire collection. And mind you, that set of 10, there were only 75 of those made in existence. So if you were one of the 75 people that paid $18,000 to get that watch, you could probably sell that for a lot more than $18,000 once you got your hands on it. Okay, so Kith's loyalty to its original brand image played a significant role in the campaign's success. Okay, without it, they probably wouldn't have been able to sell. Okay, if there was a mass quantity, I'm talking mass production, generally available, and didn't sell out within its original release, these watches would not sell. Okay, the reason why Kith does so well is because it not only has that ability to be super exclusive and high quality, it also has the hype factor within it too because it sells out all the time. Okay, so people are constantly wanting it. It has an instant demand for it. And when that happens, generally speaking, that brand is going to rise up in popularity and in demand. All right, so those are three. Let's get to the final one and arguably the most important one, which is the unparalleled storytelling that Ronnie Feig and Kith have been able to master throughout all of their campaigns. It is unbelievable to see all of the collaborations that Ronnie Feig and Kith have been able to perform while still selling out nearly every single collaboration, okay? I'm talking from sneakers to clothes to now watches. It's honestly a sight to see. Like, no one's doing it like they are. And it's incredible. I mean, it really is. Okay. So without Ronnie Feig's story of him being gifted an F1 watch when he was 13 years old, without the storytelling of Ronnie Feig showcasing 8 out of the 10 watches to pay homage to Kith's flagship stores around the world, okay, without the storytelling of each individual watch for why it was created, why the color palette was chosen, and why each watch had a specific branding behind it. Without that, these watches would not have sold. Okay? This is why this campaign was head and shoulders above Kith's prior campaigns, because it's not just a collection that is being advertised, but it's each individual watch that has its own story for why it was made. Each watch is unique. Okay? It is not a collective group like it has been in past. It's a one-of-one campaign. In fact, there are 10 of them within one. It's quite the sight. Okay? Let me go on this real quick. Let me share this with you. Stories create a stronger value and significance that no product or no service can really showcase. Okay? And it is the biggest reason why Kith and Heur's collaboration is unlike anything we have ever seen when it comes to a marketing perspective. Especially within the watch industry, most watches are not really promoted like that. Okay? When it comes to the bigger watch brands like Rolex and Omega, AP, I'm thinking about very high-end, not designer, but I guess high-end, high-quality watches. They're not really promoted on social media. They're not really promoted on TV. They're not really promoted anywhere because the watches speak for themselves, okay? Kith didn't do a ton of marketing per se. It was more organic, if anything. And the watches here speak for themselves. I mean, you can take a look and be like, yeah, that's a really cool watch. And that's what TAG Heuer and Kith have done a great job with, okay? So those are the things that Kith and TAG Heuer did really well. Now, obviously, you know my thoughts. I love this campaign. I love the marketing strategy that Ronnie Feig and Kith have, not just for this collection, but also for the vast majority of their collections in past. I'm a big Kith fan, okay? I'm biased. I will tell you that. But there's one thing, there's one minor adjustment that I would do if I was Ronnie Feig, okay? If I was Ronnie Feig, if I was the founder of Kith, and I was promoting this collection of watches at the F1 race in Miami that day on May 5, what would I do differently? And it's just one thing, okay? The only thing that I would change is that I would have a private event for Kith's friends and family and employees to celebrate their latest project, okay? It's clear when there's 10 of anything within a collection, it takes a lot of work from the design team, the manufacturing team, the marketing team, the sales team. Everyone plays a big part in it, okay? And because it is such a family-oriented and exclusive brand in of itself, why not? What better way to portray and extend that messaging than to have a private event near the event in Miami that friends and family can come to celebrate, to see the watches, or if they're lucky, to even be gifted the watches. Yes, it is more of kind of a sales strategy to do it, but it still gets the point across, okay? Ronnie Fi could even invite, people that he knows have a stronger taste and a more expensive taste in watches. Okay. And even if they don't buy, there's a chance that somebody they know might want the watch instead. Okay. So it not only is a sales event, it's not only a PR event, it's also a marketing and networking event that Ronnie Fi can get connected to the right people at the most convenient and the fastest time possible. That's probably the only change that I would have. I love this collection. I love this campaign. And I wish I had the money to buy myself a watch like this. But that is the one thing I'd change. This was a stellar campaign. Okay. So now at this point in the show, I want to kind of share with you my main takeaways. And there's 4 main takeaways that I have, similar to the previous episode. Okay. And the first one that I want to share with you is that selling a story is much easier than selling a product. Okay. And this has been portrayed through so many different sales conferences and strategies and movies and articles. It's insane. Okay. From the Wolf of Wall Street to Alex Hormozy, everyone is talking about selling a story is instead of selling a product. Okay. Let's stick with the Wolf of Wall Street example. Okay. The most iconic one from Jordan Belfort is sell me this pen. How do you sell a pen, a singular pen? Well, you don't sell it from the product description or the characteristics, but instead you sell it from the story that you paint, right? From the networking event that you had or the business card that you want to extend to a potential employer, to writing down your phone number to the woman of your dreams, whatever it is, selling that pen through a story is a lot easier than selling it through a product, okay? And the Kith and TAG HEUER collaboration is the perfect example of that. Yes, is this watch very high quality and precise? Absolutely, okay? The problem though is that so many other watches are just like that. They are also precise. They are also very nice. So how do you differentiate your watch from other brands' watches? Through storytelling. And without Feig's story and his brand that he promotes in the family-oriented background, this watch would have a harder time selling. Would it sell out? Because it's in a collection? Possibly. But it would not have been as strong of a chance as it would have without this phenomenal storytelling that this collaboration had. The second point I want to highlight here is that brand integrity is extremely valuable, especially as it pertains to product releases and major campaigns. Okay. Just like I said before, let's say that the Kith and TAG HEUER watch collection was mass produced. So instead of 75 watch box sets, let's say there's now 10,000. Okay. And instead of a couple thousand watches individually made, let's say there's 40,000 per watch. Okay. Would that mean more money for Kith and TAG HEUER in terms of revenue? Most likely. They would probably make a lot of money because of it. Here's the problem though. If they don't sell out, guess what happens? Kith and TAG HEUER both take a hit when it comes to their exclusive brands, their exclusive oriented brands. Okay. For Kith, that's kind of a big deal because Kith has premium quality. They have premium marketing. And in turn, they want to have premium performing campaigns. So they have to find the balance between how many watches can we sell while also upholding our brand integrity. And did they play on the more conservative end here with this campaign? My guess is probably so. But you'd rather be overly safe than overly careless. Okay? The third point I want to point out is that quality plays a major factor in influencer marketing. Okay? And so the best way that I want to showcase this is kind of an analogy. Generally speaking, the higher the quality of a product or service that you're offering, the lower number of influencers you typically want to involve. Okay? So because Kith and TAG HEUER are promoting such a high quality product and product collection, they don't necessarily need to have a dozen influencers on this product line. In fact, they only needed one with Max Verstappen. And because Max Verstappen is one of the prominent F1 racers, this campaign did a great job, okay? Let's take a look at it from another perspective on other case studies that I've done, okay? The Travis Scott Jumpman Jack had a plethora of influencers to use. And people are often misled by the $500 to $600 resale price. Yes, it's a very high demanded product right now, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a high quality product. The product sold originally for $200. Therefore, it is a $200 product. Versus the Pata Running Collection jacket that we covered last week's show, okay? That is a $600 varsity jacket, okay? It had a few influencers involved in the product, a very select few within Pata's running team organization, but most prominently known when LeBron James wore it, okay? So when you compare a $200 product to a $600 product, the marketing strategy is going to be very different, rightfully so, okay? When you have a $200 product, you can have a lot of people on it and sell a lot of them. And that's what Nike's known for doing. Nike is known for selling a lot of a product for, generally speaking, a lower ticket cost. Whereas Pata or Kith, they will have less influencers involved, but are selling a much higher quality or premium ticket product, okay? Whether it's a $600 jacket or a $1,000 watch or an $18,000 set of 10. These are higher ticket items that you don't necessarily need 30 influencers for, okay? And the final thing that I want to point out is the significance of a collection, okay? I want to take a step back here for a minute, okay, as I take a sip of coffee. I'm telling you, man, it's good. If you haven't tried it yet, you're going to want to. Trust me. But let's step back. And I want you to do some self-reflecting here. Think about something you collect or have collected, okay? And this can be anything from shoes to sports cards to sports memorabilia to Pokemon, like on Pokemon Go, or really anything, okay? Anytime you're collecting something, there is always going to be the hunt, the chase, finding the last piece or set within that collection. You are always going to have it. And I'll tell you this. Remember when you finally got the last piece of that collection and you hunted it down and it took you so long? How did you feel? How did you feel when you finally got the last one? Chances are you felt over the moon. You felt through the roof. You were ecstatic beyond reason. That exact feeling is the same feeling that Kith and TAG Heuer are trying to get at when it comes to their collection. Okay? Anytime you have a collection, it usually equates to the initial launch selling out, and generally speaking, the products sell beyond retail value on the aftermarket. Okay? So let's take, for example, the shoes. Okay? Specifically the Travis Scott Jumpman Jack. Okay? So this shoe retailed for $200. After the release, minutes after the release, the sneaker on the aftermarket was going for $650. If that's the shoe that someone needs to complete their collection, the moment they get that, it is unlike anything else. So, I mean, I'll just tell you a personal example while I'm at it, okay? One of my favorite sneakers of all time is the Sean Wotherspoon Air Max 197. If you don't know what that shoe looks like, do yourself a favor, go take a look. It is one of the most beautiful sneakers you will ever see. It truly is an art piece. The moment that I saw it to the moment I finally acquired it, it was about 5 years of me saving up the money, buying and selling different sneakers, hunting down a good deal, chasing them down, waiting, being patient, and finally being able to hold it and actually wear it is it truly was a full circle moment. And I even told myself that if I got the shoe before I graduated college, that I would walk the stage on graduation wearing the sneaker. And, I was blessed to be able to do that and wear the sneaker on graduation. Like it's that cool. And so the point I want to make is that people do this with a lot of stuff. And Kith and TAG HEUER have done a great job when it pertains to their collection. Okay. Most likely, after the watch is released, they're probably going to sell for a lot more than what they went for. In fact, let me see if I can find one right now here on the internet and see how much they go for. I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, so as I'm looking right now here on websites, the watch is sold at a retail price of $1,500. If you want to get some right now, if you want to get the original one on StockX right now, today, you're looking at spending $2,000. So it's already selling for a considerable margin over the retail price. Okay, and you can do that for pretty much any of these watches. Okay, the black one here too, it's going for $1,800. The sand one's going for $2,000. So they're all going for quite a bit over the retail price. Point being, if you have a collection and you have a great story and you have the quality and the brand integrity is still there, you're going to have a great collection. You're going to have a great collection and a great connection with your audience, and it's going to be like none other. All right, despite all of the technical difficulties and the crazy navigation of trying to figure out where we're at, that is the end of this marketing case study. Remember, before you leave, make sure you do the fee, share the show, whatever that is for you if you find this valuable, and stay tuned for other episodes coming out this week, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.